Hello, everyone. In this video, we're going to talk all about private and public goods. So property rights are a key principle that you really want to focus on in this particular chapter. Externalities occur because property rights are sometimes ill-defined. So what are property rights? These give the owner the ability to exercise control over a particular resource, and private property provides exclusive right of ownership that allows for the use and exchange of property. A great example of the issue of property rights is when a person on an airplane wants to lean his or her seat back. This infringes on the space allowed for the passenger in the row behind them. Who owns that space? This is controversial because who has the property rights to that particular space? A lot of times this has led to onboard confrontations and flight diversions, and in some cases, even arrests. So property rights create incentives. They have incentives to maintain, incentives to protect, to conserve, and to trade with others. When we talk about the incentive to maintain, if you have a car, for an example of a privately owned good, you have that incentive to perform routine maintenance, to keep the vehicle safe and reliable. That incentive to protect, you try to keep your vehicle locked or parked in a garage. When we talk about conservation, you want to limit the miles that you put on your car so you can keep it longer and you drive it gently. And then you can also trade your car in for a new car. So you want to kind of maintain that value so that you can trade for something better. We're going to look at one example of a case talking about private property rights. So we have two adjacent farmers with no fences. One of them is raising cattle and the other is growing wheat. In scenario one, the cattle rancher is liable for damages that the cows cause, and he has a few options. He can put up a fence, he can pay damages to the wheat farmer if his cows go into his field, and he's going to consider the cost of both to make the right choice. So what if the wheat farmer doesn't actually have a legal right to wheat-free fields or to cattle-free fields? Well, in that case, the farmer can either put up a fence himself or accept that there will be occasional damage. The result here is that if property rights are fully specified, either the cattle rancher or the wheat farmer will build the fence because the cattle rancher doesn't want to have to pay for damages to the wheat farmer, and the wheat farmer doesn't want to have to deal with damages to his property. Now, the Coase theorem says that if there are no barriers to negotiations and if property rights are fully specified, interested parties will bargain to correct the externalities on their own. From an economic standpoint, economists differentiate private and public goods based on two characteristics: if they're excludable and rival. Excludable just means that it's possible to prevent consumers who have not paid for it from having access. And rival means that particular good cannot be enjoyed by more than one person at a time. So here we have an example of a private good, and they say pizza. Private goods, again, are both excludable and rival in consumption. And most goods that we purchase and consume are private goods. You cannot have pizza if you don't pay for it. And if I'm eating a particular slice of pizza, you cannot eat that same slice of pizza. Public goods, on the other hand, can be consumed by many, and it's really difficult to exclude non-payers from consumption. Because of this, you often have a free rider problem, which just means that somebody has the ability to receive the benefit of that particular good without paying for it. A great example of a good that's provided by the government but's not a public good would be education. Education is excludable if it's provided by a firm like a private school or even a state college, and it is rival because each seat takes up space in the teacher's time. Public goods that are non-excludable and that everybody has access to are national defense and things like mosquito abatement. So let's do a practice what you know question really quickly. Here it asks, which of the following is an example of a public good? In this case, a free outdoor Christmas light display is the only example of a public good. A college football game is excludable and rival. A parking spot with a meter is both excludable and rival. And the same can be said for a college education. To be correct, the word free does have to be explicitly included. This is a display that's outdoors that anyone can freely see and enjoy. One last thing I want to talk about in this video are club goods. Club goods are non-rival and excludable, and common resource goods are going to be rival and non-excludable. So for club goods, satellite TV service is a good example. You can exclude those who don't pay by not allowing them to receive the service, but multiple people can watch the same broadcast without affecting each other's enjoyment. These are provided by the private market because free riding is not possible, although the market will likely not be very competitive. Common resources are things like fish in a lake, river, or ocean. There's no way to exclude someone from fishing, and once a fish is caught, it cannot be caught by someone else, so it is rival. This leads to an overuse of these resources. Here's where we're going to go ahead and end this video. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, I'll talk with you in the next one. Thank you.